Thinking about doing a long distance road cycling trip? Today I'm going to walk you through how I packed and prepared for the ultimate road cycling trip, the Route de Grandes Alpes in the French Alps. I'll be doing a deep dive into my packing list, and I'll also be talking about some of the things that you can do to minimize your cargo and keep yourself as lightweight as possible, especially on a trip that involves as much climbing as this epic one did. Okay, let's get started. I'm Elliot.
And I'm Megan, and we're taking the midlife leap into a better way of living on our terms.
Join us on our journey away from the paycheck and toward living with passion and purpose in our middle years. If you're not already familiar with it, the Route de Grandes Alpes spans about 720 kilometers of the French Alps and includes more than 16,000 meters of climbing, which is about 50,000 feet. It covers some of the highest paved roads in the Alps, including some of the most famous mountain passes, like the Col de Lizarane, Col de la Bonnette, Cormet de Roseland, Col de Galibier, and many others. It starts at Lake Geneva in the north, and it winds its way through the Alps, ending in the French Riviera, in our case, ending in the city of Nice. This journey is a true test of endurance, strength, and preparedness. And since I already know that I won't be one of the most physically prepared riders on the trail, I at least want to win the preparedness game. I'll be sharing more about the Route de Grandes Alpes in other videos, but for now I'm focusing on how I'm packing and preparing for this trip. So if you saw my video a while back about doing the Icefields Parkway in the Canadian Rockies, that required a very different packing approach than this one, as I was camping along the way and cooking my food. On the RDGA, we'll be staying in Airbnbs and hotels, and we'll be eating from grocery stores and restaurants. The focus instead is on being ultra lightweight to be able to climb those huge mountain passes. Okay, I've got everything that I'm bringing with me spread out on the bed behind me here, and I've broken it into categories to make it a little bit easier to walk through. So top left, we have all of our cycling equipment and kind of bike gear, we'll call it. Top right is all the clothing that I'm wearing both on and off the bike. Bottom right is toiletries, personal items, that kind of thing. And then if you can see over on the bottom left, that's all of our tech. So that's camera, that's batteries, chargers, cables, all that kind of stuff. So let's walk through them one by one and let's see how we're doing. Okay, let's start off with bike equipment. So what I'm bringing is a MEC provincial saddlebag. This is the kind that floats above the back wheel, doesn't connect to the wheel, but instead it connects to the seat post. So it doesn't hold quite as much, but it also is ideal for a trip like this where I'm not planning to bring so much cargo and there won't be as much weight as there might be if you needed panniers. So this holds 12 liters. And then I have my top tube bag here, which also is from MEC. And I think that holds 4 liters. So both of these are waterproof bags, very important when you're going on a mountain trip. And then I have my handlebar bag here, which is quite small. So all I plan to have in there is my phone, some snacks, and I don't know, maybe my ear pods. So between this one, which is 2 liters, 4 liters, and 12 liters, I've got 16 liters of storage. Wait a minute, did I do that right? 14, 16, yeah, 16 liters of storage. So those are that's my outside parameters. Everything else I walk through here has to fit into one of those 3 bags, with one little exception that I'll talk about in a minute. So then we have a water bottle, of course. Now, normally I ride with 2 bottles, but because of that top tube bag, I'm foregoing one of my water bottles. So I'm going to try to do this on one. Then we have a little chain lube. And I've got a bike lock, not the greatest bike lock. I'm trying to look for a lighter, maybe more strong version. But since on this trip, we are not going to be locking the bikes up outside much, we'll have secure storage. And then I have one extra tube for my bike. I decided to only go with one, thinking that in the rare event that I blow a tube and I have to replace it on the road, I'll just make sure that I kind of expedite getting a backup again, so I don't have to carry around 2 or 3 for the whole trip. Again, on this ride, it's all about economy of weight and size. Then we've got a pry bar here to be able to replace the tube. I've got gloves. I decided, even though I like the fingerless gloves, I decided for some of these descents that are likely to be cold, when you're descending fast, you're probably going to want extra warmth. I've got my helmet. I've got a GoPro adapter on the top. More about the GoPro later. I've got a multi-tool here, which has all your different Allen keys and then also the screwdrivers. Basically everything that you need to service your bike. I've got an extra couple of chain links. I've also got a little CO2 cartridge pump. I'm not bringing any CO2 cartridges with me because on the airplane, of course, you can't bring them. So that'll be one of the things that I need to do on the other side before we get going, is get a few cartridges. Then I've got a USB chargeable rear light, USB chargeable front light. These are great. They last a long time on a charge, and I don't have to worry about batteries going out. Couple extra zap straps for whatever I might need. I also have a Apple-like AirTag locator. This isn't an Apple one, it's a knockoff, but it does a job. Makes my wife feel comfortable knowing where I am when I'm in the mountains, and also the other people on my trip will have an idea if I should go missing. Okay, so let's move over to the tech area now. So in the tech area, first let's start with the GoPro. I'm bringing a GoPro with the cage that allows me to mount it to anything. And I'm bringing 2 extra batteries, although I did think about whether I wanted to bring this 3 battery charger or if I could give up that weight and size. But knowing how quickly this thing burns batteries, I think I'd like to have 3 charged ones on deck. So then I also have the chest harness for the GoPro. So if I don't want it on my helmet, I find that gets pretty bumpy. The footage is pretty bumpy because my head moves around a lot. I'm going to try this one on the chest. Then, of course, we're going to Europe, so you need a converter. And in this case, I love this one because it actually has 4 USB connectors on the bottom. And it also has on the back, where's the back? The ability to plug in a regular kind of North American style 2-prong adapter and have it converted to the European style. So it's a lot of flexibility with this one thing. And then I have a power bank. This is a great power bank. It is 28,000 milliamps, which means that I can charge a phone or other thing like several times. It's also got solar panels on the top. So I plan to put it on the top of my rear saddlebag there to maybe soak up a little solar energy as I go for those long days. It doesn't charge very fast that way, but it's better than nothing. Then I have my Polar V650 bike computer. This is critical. I've loaded it with maps for the route that we're going to be taking and navigation. Assorted charging cables, including my Fitbit charger for my Fitbit Sense and all the other items I'm bringing. Got to bring some AirPods. I'm bringing a selfie stick, which I'll just use for handheld stuff. What's great about this is it's also, see if I can do this with one hand. It's also a 3-way tripod. It's a little mini tripod, so you can set it down and get some static shots as well. Now, here's the thing that I'm mostly grappling with here. This is my DJI Air 2 drone and my remote control that has to go with it. This drone needs to be paired with this big fat remote control that probably weighs a pound or 2. This is what's giving me a little bit of pause because that's a big decision to pack something this big and heavy. So that may or may not make the final cut, but we'll see what happens when I load up the bike and have to make some hard choices. And then I've got my charging cable for the drone. I'm only bringing a single battery. Each one of these batteries is very heavy. So I decided I don't need to have a second and a third one. If I can only fly for 10, 15 minutes a day, then so be it. Okay, so moving over to my kit and my clothes. What am I wearing? So I'm going to be in cycling shoes almost all the time, but I have this one extra pair of shoes. These things were like $20 or something at Walmart. I don't care about them. I don't like the style. If I decide they're too big and I want to throw them in a garbage can somewhere in France, I'm going to do that. So, but I know I can't walk around town in the mornings and evenings in my cycling shoes and clips.
So that's my one pair of shoes that will do me for every moment that I'm not on the bike. And then one pair of shorts, a couple of pairs of cycling socks, regular street socks, a couple of pairs of underwear. And then here's where you see like the hard choices you have to make on a ride like this. I am bringing one pair of pants, one short sleeve shirt, and one long sleeve kind of insulated Lululemon top. So this includes what I'm going to wear on the airplane. There's no other clothes that I'm bringing with me. This is the whole thing. So obviously it's going to be very important to wash clothes when you can. Make sure you get them dried before you pack up in the morning, because I'll be constantly recycling the same clothes. So as for on the bike, I'll have 2 different cycling jerseys. I figured that's a lot of hours to spend in one, and just in case I can't get it dry in the morning, I want to have a backup jersey. Then I'm also bringing, of course, the cycling glasses, and I'm not bringing a separate pair of sunglasses, so these will be the things that I'm wearing all the time, and I'll probably be looking like I'm from the future when I'm walking around town or the airport, but that's the way it is. And then I have 2 pairs of cycling shorts, 2 for the same reason that I have 2 jerseys. Just in case I can't get it dry in the morning, I need an option. Then I have my shoes. I put on brand new Shimano clips on the bottoms of these guys to make sure that those cleats are nice and crisp. Then let's talk about toiletries. This is where you have to economize a lot as well. So I'm bringing a sunscreen. I don't know if this will make the final cut. I wish it wasn't such a big container. I'd like it to be about a half or a third the size, but it's what I've got. The Voltaren will definitely make the final cut. Why? Voltaren is basically topical ibuprofen. So if you've got chafing, if you've got some area that you've burned yourself or some kind of friction injury, you want to be able to apply Voltaren. That is a localized freezing. It works great on your butt when your saddle sores become too much. You put that stuff on, you can't feel anything. It's a miracle product. And then you have what I'm calling like my shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and hand soap. So this little thing is going to serve all types of cleaning purposes. I have a deodorant just for my fellow travelers' sake. And then I have the Body Glide, which is basically preventative blistering and chafing. If it didn't work, then you go to the Voltaren, but this is your first line of defense, is Body Glide. I call it Butt Glide because that's really where it matters the most. And then I've got a few Band-Aids, just an assortment of different size Band-Aids. Tiniest of little toothpastes. And I took a toothbrush, and since I need to be able to fit it into a very small Ziploc bag, I actually broke it in half. Half the size, and also a little bit more convenient to pack away with all this other small stuff. And then a tiny little comb. Okay, now we're not bringing food. We're not bringing much by way of sustenance for this ride. But what I did do is, I love goo. I love the salted watermelon flavor. I have one of these for every day on the road. And I'm considering this my emergency kit for when I'm bonking on the last little bit of a climb and you just need something. I want to know that it's one that I like. So fortunately, these things pack up hopefully pretty small, and I'll be going through them. It'll be a depleting supply as we go. So that's a bit of a luxury. Of course, they have energy bars and they have gels in Europe. And then lastly, we have a little bag to be able to pack my clothes in. I hope they'll fit in there. It just makes it a little bit more convenient when everything's in a cube. And then this is another thing that I don't know yet if I want to bring it. This is a hydrating bag. It has a little bladder in it, and it gives me a little bit of storage space. I haven't truthfully put everything into its bags yet. I don't know if I have more than I can possibly fit. But if I find that I do, and I find that I can't cut anymore, then I'm going to be adding this backpack. I don't want to wear a backpack all day, every day, but we'll see what happens. But that's the plan for now, is to bring that with me. Okay, so all in, it looks like quite a bit, but fortunately the clothes and most of these items can squeeze down very small, and I'm optimistic that they're going to get into the 16 liters of baggage here, but proof is in the pudding. And so in a moment, I'm going to load this all up on the bike, and I'm going to show you where we're at.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Also, if you've done a trip like this before, please contribute. Please leave your comments below. Am I packing too much? Am I missing out something really important? I really want to hear your feedback.